know I was born a bit too late to really know what Sears was like in its heyday. The two stores that were nearest to me have both closed down, and I could probably count on one hand the number of times I visited them, so I'm just not as nostalgic about the chain as many of you viewers likely are. That being said, I can appreciate how truly monumental they once were, and how their catalog revolutionized the world of shopping and wanking.
I'm gonna sit at home and ogle the ladies in the Victoria's Secret catalog. Sears catalog.
I considered doing a long intro explaining the company's rise and fall, but there are already plenty of videos out there doing just that, and I think most of you already know the basic story. Instead, I will just explain to you the subject of this video, its former headquarters. The year is 1989. Sears gazes upon their empire from atop the tallest building in the world. The retail giant is doing well, but they're not quite in their prime anymore, and those Walmart guys are pushing them off their perch. A change is needed. CEO Edward Brennan is thinking of moving out of the state of Illinois, but he is instead convinced by Governor James R. Thompson to move the company's headquarters out into the Chicago suburbs. One suburb in particular has plenty of room to grow. Hoffman Estates, which clings onto Interstate 90, is willing to offer them major tax breaks to spur development in a rural area on the town's west side. No need to shuffle thousands of employees to the top of the Sears Tower every day. Now they can lay comfortably close to the ground on a spacious plot of land. Edward takes them up on their offer, and so begins the construction of their new HQ, which would serve as the anchor of the Prairie Stone Business Park. Later included in the surrounding development were several more office buildings, stores, and the Sears Center, an entertainment arena with an 11,000-seat capacity. Construction of the HQ was completed in 1992, and the building was enormous, encompassing some 2.4 million square feet of office space within 7 interconnected buildings. Its 5,000 employees had access to a wide selection of dining and shopping options, as well as a bank, salon, travel agency, and their very own in-house Sears store. From an architectural perspective, it was nowhere near as stunning as the Sears Tower, but it was still an impressive building. Although many people enjoyed working there, it being 30 miles from downtown Chicago and surrounded by farms was a bit of an adjustment. As Ron Culp, a former PR specialist for Sears, put it, "It was a beautiful facility, but you felt like you were being held captive in a kind of remote location." Years passed, and Sears struggled to last. Not only were they up against Walmart, they now had to compete with the burgeoning market of online retail. In 2005, Kmart announced a merger with Sears, forming the Sears Holdings Corporation. The two became roommates at the Hoffman Estates HQ, leaving Kmart's old office in Troy, Michigan, abandoned. Perhaps two is better than one, but it didn't stop the downturn. Beginning in 2010, the company began bleeding profits, and by 2016, Sears and Kmart had lost more than $10 billion. In 2010, there were 3,555 Sears and Kmart stores around the country. By the end of the decade, that number had reduced to just 182. And then, the bombshell finally came. On October 15, 2018, the company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. 8 months later, in June of 2019, Sears Holdings officially ceased to exist. But Sears and Kmart are not yet gone completely. As of the making of this video, 9 Sears and 5 Kmart stores still remain in operation. So who's keeping the lights on? In February of 2019, Sears CEO Eddie Lampert founded Transform Co. to acquire Sears Holdings' remaining assets. Transform Co. is quite a secretive entity and has given very little info to the public about its activities. Their last press release was nearly 3 years ago. They supposedly operate out of a small office building across the street from the former Sears HQ, but there is no signage outside the building that even lists them. Unsurprisingly, with the company in this downsized form, the HQ began shedding its workforce, laying off thousands of employees. The COVID-19 pandemic didn't help things. In fact, the second ever recorded case of the virus in the United States happened to be in the same town as the HQ. By 2021, the building was practically a ghost town, due in part to the fact that many of the remaining employees were working from home. A lot of the in-house shops and restaurants closed down, and parking lots were dotted with only a handful of cars. Eventually, it was no longer feasible for the company to keep operating out of such a massive building, and the Sears HQ was emptied and put up for sale in January of 2022. They managed to find a buyer relatively quickly. In July of 2023, Compass Data Centers, based out of Dallas, Texas, expressed an interest in the property, seeking to demolish the HQ to build several data centers. Boring. A purchase of the property was finalized in September, which is when I first decided to take a look. The parking lot is almost completely darkened, and so is the building. I was actually not expecting this. I was assuming it'd be more lit up. Locked. Also locked. Locked. God damn it. There's this building here that's separate from the rest of the facility. I don't know what they would have used this for. I found out later that this was the Sears Child Development Center, a daycare for the children of Sears employees. So I think this is the main entrance. It's probably locked. What the hell? So I just went under a motion sensor. It turned on, looked at me. Not liking this so far. There is a guard in there. I just saw him flash his light, walking through the windows. Up to this point, I was unaware that there was security inside the building, and I had just narrowly missed their patrol. This was my cue to get out of there. I realized indoor security presence probably wouldn't go away until demolition started. Exploring a building that's in the midst of being torn down wasn't ideal, but it was probably my only choice. So I waited. In July of 2024, demolition kicked off with one section of windows being ceremoniously destroyed. The following month, work started in earnest as bulldozers picked away at the G and A buildings. It was time to try again. This is the biggest facility I've ever explored. A decent chunk of it is already gone, leaving the B, C, D, E, and F buildings. There's also all the areas on the ground floor, which include the dining concourse, the shopping concourse, the atrium and lobby, and whatever is in this part of the building. I want to explore all of these areas, but only one of the office wings, because exploring each of them would take way too long, and they all have roughly the same layout. I'll probably explore the C building, since it's the most centrally located one. However, I do also want to get to the roof of the B building, as it's the tallest part of the facility. Lastly, I want to try to find the pipe room. It's featured in a bunch of videos of the place, and it's supposed to be somewhere in the basement. As for the security situation, there's a guard who likes to stake out near the east entrance, and will occasionally do patrols around the parkway. So obviously, I'll have to keep that in mind.
I don't see anyone. I saw a car that was parked there, the security guard earlier. But if he is there, I gotta be really quiet. Oh, there he is. So we do have a guard circling the property. He just passed by this section like a couple minutes ago. So I'll have to be on the lookout for him. Or her. That is a massive building. Penthouse, elect RM, not tagged. All the Sears employees would have been having lunch here. keep. Someone needs to rake these damn leaves. You can see this facility has acquired a fair bit of graffiti. Put all copper wire in box. All chairs in this room are $20 each or less. They're looking pretty dusty. Chatillon. Calibrator. How the hell does this have so much dust in here? I mean, from the demolition work, I guess, but it wasn't nearly this much in other parts, I don't think. this month. 553 million, 6.6 billion, 397 million. And how PR affects brand sentiment. The man's having a jolly old laugh. Whoa. This is a pretty bland looking hallway. Just utility stuff back here, I guess. What the hell is this? This is like a model store. Well, if I ever wanted to explore an abandoned Sears store, I guess I've done so. Stop pointing that at me. Pet care. This still works. November 25th, 2023. So that was put there after I tried to get in here last year. They were doing segregation here. That's a joke. Text app to 73277. App. Oh, failed to send. I have no signal in here. September 2010. Best practices. Another giant empty room back here. This room is also really dusty. Breathe. That's an incorrect apostrophe. We got a shopping cart. Wonder what they would have done in these rooms. IR Labs Experience Center. Sears, shop your way. And now we're back in this hallway. Chinese lettering. Eddie Lampert Loser. And now we're back in this hallway again. Okay, as much as I'd like to keep exploring this area, I want to get to one of the office wings before I head out for the night. I'm gonna see if I can get up in there, the center wing. Yeah, motivational poster. Commercial reel. Building C. Thank God that has never happened to me. Huh. It's interesting how Kmart takes into account climate areas, climate zones. Wow. Look how many stores I used to have. Buying Team of the Month. In February 2020, it was auto. In March 2019, it was mattresses. In April 2019, it was refrigeration. This has to be empty, right? Yeah. Sad. November 28th, 2019. Illinois farmers face thankless harvest. Build, believe, billion. Okay. Oh, we're in the mattress department. Linda likes minions. I obviously don't have time to go into every meeting room and cubicle, but I will try to give the cliff notes. Sorry about that rattling noise. My right leg is starting to give out, so I'm gonna have to call it quits for the night. Through the forest again.
As of the upload date of this video, demolition of the Sears HQ is still ongoing and will extend into next year. Preparations have been made to grade the land for construction of the 5 data centers, which is also set to begin in 2025. Also, remember those CDs from earlier? I stuffed one of them into my backpack and took it home to view the files. The CD contains several Sears commercials from 2007, and I think they're pretty neat. I've uploaded them to YouTube as an unlisted video, and I'll put a link to it in the description if you're curious.